everybody, it's time to LOL. Listen out loud, that is. It's time for Anime Jam Session with DJ Ranma S., Mako-chan, and Ari Rockefeller.
Hey everybody, welcome to Anime Jam Session, episode number 558. We are that podcast that talks about anime, games, conventions, the fandom, geek stuff, and everything in between. I'm DJ Ranma S.
I'm Ari Rockefeller.
And I am Mako-chan.
And how is everybody doing tonight?
Meh.
Yeah, I can kind of feel that. I blame it on the weather. Especially how somehow when I got out of work, my umbrella broke.
Oops.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, it was laying on the box. I go outside and I open it up. It's fine. I go to Wingstop to pick up my dinner, and I couldn't close the son of a bitch. It was like the clip is like stuck inside, like the button is like stuck and it won't open. So I'm probably going to fiddle around with it with a flathead screwdriver and see how that's going to turn out. That'll be fun. So, and again, I only paid $7 for it. Honestly, I'd be more pissed if I paid like $20 for it, like the last one that broke. Or did I lose it? I don't know. Anywho, let's get the show on the road, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
We are live tonight, week of September 6, 2022, right here on Twitch TV. We're here live Tuesdays from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think we're still in daylight for another month, so guess y'all should enjoy whatever's left of the evening light as the best that you possibly can. And you'll always find us here at Twitch TV, at twitch.tv/Anime Jam Session. And we're also part of the Voice of Geeks Network, and you can find out more information about them and other shows at vognetwork.com. And they're also on Twitch. You can find them at twitch.tv/vognetwork. They kick things off on Sunday, starting at 8 p.m. with the Bobby Blackwolf Show, followed by Orange Lounge Radio at 9. And come through and hang out on our Discord, vognetwork.com/Discord. Every show that's part of the Voice of Geeks Network has their own channel, so come through and hang out. And if you notice this week, there was no show from the Bobby Blackwolf Show or Orange Lounge Radio because they're all down at Dragon Con.
Yep.
Lucky them.
Well, given the fact that I have very little tolerance of large crowds now, and seeing how it looked this year, I don't think I'll be going.
I would like to at least go 1 year just to people watch.
That might be the only way I'll go.
I mean, the good thing is they're very serious about their tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for something very specific, it should actually all be in the same area. So you don't have to really leave that area if you're looking to just maintain that one specific fandom for a while.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally get it. It's just that the sheer number of people, I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm just not feeling that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'll see. I mean, like, last year, you know, the way it looked, I would have been like, if last year was like the next few years coming across, oh, I definitely would go. I mean, hell, I booked the room for Otakon, so because everybody said it was so spread out and not as crowded, and I'm like, I'll give it a shot. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. And I assume you're coming along with me, Ari.
Well, if the good thing is, if it's bad, like if the experience is bad as a general, well, it's not going back to Baltimore, is it?
No, I don't. I honestly don't see it going back to Baltimore anytime soon. Because here's the thing: you got people there who have stopped going to Otakon because it's in DC, and I bet you, if and when it goes back to Baltimore, you're gonna have people who are refusing to go to Otakon because it's in Baltimore. Because you have people who are saying Baltimore is dangerous. You got people that are saying
so
that,
is DC.
Yeah, Atlantic City is dangerous. Hartford is dangerous.
Really, Connecticut?
Yeah, Kineticon.
Oh, right.
I mean, there's danger where you go. As long as you're smart and you use your noggin, you should be fine for the most part. I mean, like, if you're worried that much, make sure you're at a hotel that's not even 2 blocks away, you know?
hmm I was gonna say if it goes back to Baltimore and it ends up sucking, we can just get a whole lot of mileage out of the Big Bill Hell's, uh, car commercial.
Fair enough. Mm.
Fuck you, Baltimore.
Mm. Anywho, let's get the show on the road. So, Ari, how was your week? How was your day?
My weekend day was pretty lame. I mean, most of it's been revolving around therapy, which is going a lot better. And thankfully, well, not thank, I did do a little bit better because while I was walking around, I didn't actually have my cane. I
Yeah.
just decided to go with it, and therapy ended up being pretty good.
Well, it's good to hear. Glad to hear that.
About the only thing that's still going to be problems is walking down
Mm-hmm.
stairs. But I'm sure. Well, I got this week of therapy, Wednesday and Friday, and
Mm-hmm.
then next week, and hopefully I can get cleared to go back to work. And thankfully, it'll be after our weekend at the barbecue. So
Sounds like a plan.
I also got back into Pokemon Go, which is not too bad because the library I live across from always has tons of activity almost every day.
No, that's good.
But yeah, I'm way behind in everything. I only just got over level 20.
There's no problem with that.
Everyone go at their own rate.
If you're very active in it, it won't take very long to get to level 40. If you're very casual like I am, that's when it's going to take a while. But
Yeah, I'm definitely as casual as you are with
at the
it.
same time, though, it's something to do that kills time.
And all the walking you'll be doing. That's also good, too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know that we'll be doing that at Q for a bit.
That's why I brought it up in our chat for that, because I'm like, wait, you guys, look what I'm getting back into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll have to, because there are a bunch of gyms on the boardwalk, and then we'll have to get you some of the old Pokemon so that you have them.
hmm
Sounds like a plan. Way to go. Mako, how was your week? How was your day? And welcome back.
Yeah, I was very sick. I had a cold, but the joy of not being sick for 3 years, I my body basically went, ah, ha, ha, we're gonna kick your ass now. So even though I had a cold, I basically had like all of the you could possibly have this symptoms. So on top of the cough and on top of sneezing, I had a fever for 4 days straight.
Wow.
Yeah, it started out at it was 102.5, and it did slowly go down from there. So it's not like it, was crazy high for most of it, but I had a fever for 4 days straight. So I did stay home and worked from home this past week. And then I dog sat, and the joyous thing that I was not informed of until after I was already dog sitting is that my mother and her girlfriend teased the dog
Mm-hmm.
by sneezing at her.
What?
What?
So every time I sneezed, she thought it was playtime, and she would come up to me and jump on me and want to figure out where the noise came from. So, yeah, every time I sneezed when I was dog sitting, she came and wanted to play with me. Had to make sure that I was okay because, they tease her by sneezing. And I got to, deal with that.
That doesn't sound fun.
It wasn't as I mean it wasn't horrible, but at the same time it was just like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it still sounds kind of fucked up. Like, I'm like, wait, they're not gonna make that dog sick, are they?
No, the dog's not sick or anything. It's just, some people will play with the dog by, barking back and things like that, and they just choose to sneeze at her.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't horrible, and the rest of the weekend was fun as hell, so that's all that matters.
Yep, yep. So my weekend day was more or less the same, except that unlike most other people, I had a 4-day weekend. And I decided not to set my alarm except for Sunday, and yet I still woke up early. But that's all good and ending. That's fine. One of the things I also did over the week was upgrade Daitenshi. And for those of you who don't know, Daitenshi is my desktop computer. This is the system that I do all the work on. I just basically upgraded the processor. So now I went from an 8 core to a 12 core, and it's a lot more stable. So I went from second gen to fifth generation. I'm running AMD, so I'm quite happy about that. So this is good and this is great. So usually I would have to like do a reboot before I go live just to make sure everything is good and golden. Did not have to. Everything is running fine. There's no lag or anything. I mean, there is no lag in general, but there's no lag of me flipping between applications and so forth. So I'm quite happy about that. Um, I still plan on upgrading. Let me adjust this. I still plan on upgrading to 7,000 series, and that'll probably happen probably January of 2023, and then the old equipment will be donated to a couple of close friends who been definitely going to give more life into it. So that's all that really matters, and I'm quite cool with that. Um, Also, well, this will probably come up during Geek Roundtable, but me and Mako, we went to go see Clerks 3. It was part of the Kevin Smith The Convenience Tour. And let me say this. If you enjoyed the first two films, you're really going to enjoy the third. For me, there was a couple of twists there I was not expecting, but regardless of how I felt about it, it still played out pretty well for what it was. So I wasn't too terribly upset. So, would I rewatch it? Yeah, I would. You know. So, yeah. So that was all of our weeks and days. So now we're going to get into the good stuff here. Housekeeping. Let me update the thing here. Perfect. Don't forget, every older episodes of Anime Jam Session are available on our YouTube page. You can find it at youtube.com/Anime Jam Session. Click on playlists and you'll see podcast VODs. Episodes are there, so definitely check them out. This is perfect, if you don't have a subscription to our page, because if you don't, you can only see like a few weeks of older episodes before they're gone, but But definitely, if you head over to YouTube, you'll see a lot more episodes, and you'll see there's some good gems in there. So definitely check those out. Don't forget, we have a list of upcoming conventions. This list of conventions may change, but I don't think it will. But they would normally change based on COVID numbers, availability of staffers, and so forth. We have RetroCon, September 24th to the 25th in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Another Anime Con, October 16th to the 18th in Westford, Massachusetts. DerpyCon, October 28th to the 30th in East Brunswick, New Jersey. And Anime NYC, November 18th to the 20th, Jacob K. Javits Center, New York City. Now, the thing is, I haven't decided for RetroCon if I'm going to bring my camera and start taking pictures, or am I just gonna walk around and just enjoy myself? Because I'm actually going just to get a photo, just to get an autograph with a friend, and that's it. We're just gonna day trip out there, and that's it. So I haven't decided. I might just still bring the camera because I know there's probably going to be a few photos I'm going to grab, but I'm probably am not bringing the camcorder because I'm not trying to record a lot of stuff. So we'll see how it goes. And I forgot to activate the sponsorship for that. Oh well, save it for another time. All right. Now that we got that out the way, I'll tell you more about Geek Roundtable. Bring that up. There we go. Geek Roundtable is more of the geekier aspects of our week. We talk more about the geekier things of it, and we kind of show off some cool stuff. So, for Geek Roundtable, what you got there, Ari?
Well, it's not enough. Again, it's a experience and not another actual thing. But I did, like, while I was, trundling around on YouTube and looking for things, I did come across this one person who was talking about their time as a gym leader in Pokemon.
Yeah.
By that I mean there's an actual Pokemon ROM hack where you actually play as a gym leader. Like you pretty much get a blank canvas for your town. And you can pick whatever your type affiliation is. And he was having a lot of fun with it, but there's also there's an enemy team you have to worry about, causing havoc. I want to get into it. Like, it looks like a lot of fun. I definitely want to get into it, but I'm gonna have to, get back into streaming. Also, I got all the Adobe stuff finally installed and working properly. Although the Photoshop shortcut is kind of going into business for itself.
Don't worry about it. Did you uninstall the old Adobe stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you should be fine. If anything, do a reboot and run Wise Cleaner. You should be good. And if that don't work, just create a new shortcut.
I also made a little background for people who were saying, "Hey, you're gonna watch the Saban Moon stuff with us, right?" And I have my reaction to it all lined up.
Sounds like you're already prepped and ready to go. I don't like the sound of that laugh.
That's probably for the better.
Dun dun dun.
Anyway.
All right, Mako-chan, what do you have this week for a Geek Roundtable? That creepy kind of looking thing.
Yeah, so while I was dog sitting, my mother said, "Oh, by the way, there is a box on the night table that's yours." So when I opened it, it was a Q-Posket of Kevin Smith that's signed. But yeah, it was kind of fitting because this weekend we did go to see the Convenience Store, and we got to see Clerks 3 early before it actually fully releases in theaters. So that was kind of cool. And then we also, right after that, there was the little Q&A. So he did go into, explaining all of, the Clerks storyline and
the
all
lore
of that
and all that good stuff.
So it was a really good weekend. So it was a very Kevin Smith weekend.
So, yeah, I too, as I said earlier, went to Clerks 3 Convenience Tour. And one thing about these events, I try to buy something that's commemorative, Lately, I try not to buy t-shirts because I'm legitimately running out of room. And it's really hard for me to part ways with certain shirts because they're that old. And I'm just like, if I get rid of this shirt,
you'll never get it again.
Exactly. And yet, Chocola sent me a screenshot off the Anime Next forum. Facebook group. Somebody went into Goodwill and found a crap ton of Anime Next 2017 shirts.
Wow.
And they were going for $2 a pop. It kind of reminds me of how, when two teams are like in the Super Bowl or the World Series and one team wins and the other team's like, well, what do we do with the box of shirts?
Oh, that kind of thing.
But the thing is, they will still sell older shirts. But here's the thing: if you're still selling older shirts, why is a stack of Anime Next 2017 shirts at a local Goodwill? I don't know. Maybe they just got rid of them and just did a tax write-off. I have no clue. But I did get a shirt. A Clerks 3 commemorative shirt. On the front, says, "Suck me off and make me gum, Chuli's gum sucker."
I forgot that was more than just a one-off thing.
And on the back, it says, "Clerks 3, I assure you I was there for the convenience tour fall 2022.
Nice.
And as Sia DeBerry says in our chat here at Twitch TV/Anime Jam Session, those shirts get donated to Africa usually. The losing team ones, that is. Yeah. Makes you wonder about these African nations if they're really tired of all those championship Boston shirts they couldn't sell,
Wah, wah, wah.
For all we know, they may have sent the Patriots Super Bowl 52 champion shirts back.
Well, yeah. I still wish I got my hands on the giant Super Bowl shirt, 12-1.
12-1.
Yeah, that was the year the Patriots had a perfect
18-1. You're thinking
18, yeah, the perfect
18 wins, one giant mistake, like one giant loss.
Yeah, okay, I thought it said 12-1. No, but it just said 18-1 in Giants logo. I was like, oh, that is too good. But enough about that. Let's get into tonight's story, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And one of my favorite animes, Lucky Star, is making a comeback in manga form. It's like this. You have Azumanga Daioh, and then you have Lucky Star. Basically, it's kind of one and the same. It's just a different group of girls. And it's just as kind of random. But oddly enough, I know people who love Azumanga Daioh and couldn't get into Lucky Star, and vice versa. But let's hear about this. So, after an 8-year hiatus, the manga is coming back. The mangaka Kagami Yoshimitsu, the manga went on hiatus back in 2024 due to a new project that Yoshimitsu had planned. Kanko's official Twitter account for the original Doujin Circle creators, C2 Kikan, was the first to break the news. In the tweet, C2 Kikan reveals that the Lucky Star creator is a big supporter of the Kanko franchise. That's Kanko, those who don't know, is short for Kantai Collection. It's basically a manga and anime about girls who are basically like battleships and so forth. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, think of it as a smaller version of Azure Lane. So yeah. Excuse me. Huh. Wow, they actually revamped the site. Nice. So initially serialized in Kadokawa's Comptique magazine in 2003, the company will transfer it to their new magazine, Mitania, for its November 10th issue. It'll be the first new chapter of Lucky Star since May of 2014. Mitania is an experimental magazine that features news and manga, heavily focusing on the Kanko franchise. Lucky Star is a 4-page panel comic strip manga that tells the story of 4 Japanese schoolgirls, Konada Izumi, Kagami Hiragi, Tsukasa Hiragi, and Miyuki Takada. It's a slice-of-life comic that has no ongoing plot. Think of it as Seinfeld, the manga. Bandai Entertainment released part of the original manga, the television series, and the OVA in North America. Funimation currently holds the rights of the streaming anime, and if you're lucky like me, you have the DVD sitting on your shelf in the back there. The series was so popular that it earned a spin-off manga called Lucky Star Pocket Travelers. Serialized in Comp Ace, the spin-off series followed the same 4 girls from the original story. But this time, they discover they've shrunk into doll size. In addition to Lucky Star Pocket Travelers, another spin-off was based on the Lucky Star Moe Drill video games. The new spin-off was known as Miyakawa Kei no Kufuku, which stands for the Miyakawa Family's Hunger, and saw serialization in the January 2008 issue of Kadokawa's Comp H magazine. Following the success of the two spin-offs, a parody manga by artist Areto saw serialization in Comptique magazine. In 2014, another spin-off was announced based on Miyakawa Kei no Kufuku, titled Miyakawa Kei ga Manpuku. Manga artist Tsubomi Hanabana and cuisine supervisor Itsuko Ichise worked on the series. In addition to the manga, Lucky Star had an anime TV series done by Kyoto Animation. It aired from April 8, 2007 to September 16, 2007. The late Yasuhiro Takamoto directed the series after replacing dismissed director Yutaka Yamamoto. Before joining the Lucky Star crew, he worked on 2009's The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Lucky Star's latest chapter will appear in the third issue of Metania on November 10th. Cool.
Now, how long before we see the surge of Lucky Star cosplayers hit the conventions?
Not long. Well, it depends. I mean, if the manga ends up being translated in the U.S., most likely, you know. I still want to see a Love Live group in their cheer outfits do the full opening to Lucky Star. That's all I want to see, because I think that'd be pretty awesome. Next up, Ari, what's going on with Hunter x Hunter?
Well, let's see. Author, creator, and illustrator Yoshihiro Togashi announced on Monday, August 29th, that he intends to hire more staff to help with the production of the series. The decision came after reports that Togashi's health was not improving since he resumed his work on the manga. Some reports went as far to say that his health has worsened in recent weeks, evident from the slow pace of work that Togashi has updated fans on via Twitter. Now it seems that the Hunter x Hunter mangaka's pain is debilitating enough to force the hiring of additional editorial staff. Following along, the article fully breaks down latest reports concerning his health. Where was it? I lost my place. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter x Hunter manga is one of the media's most celebrated series, loved by both critics and fans alike. The announcement of the series' return several months ago was an incredibly welcoming, exciting, and promising development. But his health and his issues in his lower back area have not seen any signs of improvement in recent weeks, with some reports claiming they got worse since resuming production. Ahead of his upcoming exhibition in October, Togashi sent out a tweet announcing his intent to hire more staff, and the announcement reads as follows: "You're probably thinking, go draw the next chapter already. I was unable to sit in a chair for 2 years, which made me unable to draw, but by throwing conventional methods to the wayside, I've been able to resume drawing somehow. Everyone, I sincerely ask you to take care of your backs and your hips. Just 2 weeks before writing this message, I couldn't get in a position to wipe my ass, and I had to take a shower every time I pooped.
Wow.
It takes 3 to 5 times longer for me to do everyday movements. Your hips are important." I'm like, damn, you know you fucked up when you're using your shower as a bidet.
That's a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm. He also specified that the background effects for 399 were done, with Chapter 399, with the next issue set to begin production once Togashi submits his specifications to his team. Now that the staff additions are not being done through open recruitment, likely meant to deter fans from reaching out with applications. So yeah, it sucks to hear him talk about how bad his health is getting, especially with his back. But, you know, you gotta prioritize that shit, so.
Surprised he hasn't had surgery for it or something.
Well, he said he had discarded conventional means, so he probably wrote off getting surgery a while ago.
What would you say, Mako?
He may have had surgery.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
if he did, we didn't hear about it.
Well, I mean, look at Ozzy. Ozzy has had multiple surgeries since his accident, and he's still not better.
Mm.
Unfortunately,
Ozzy Osbourne, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the back and the spine, depending on, the actual issue at hand, surgery may not relieve the swelling on the spinal cord itself. And if the spinal cord swells too much and then does heal, the nerves in the spinal cord could still be damaged and could be permanently damaged. So, depending on the severity of what is actually going on, there's a very good chance that he could be, partially paralyzed or just have issues with pain and tingling and weakness for the rest of his life.
Mm.
I also heard Ozzy said that he didn't want to die in America, so he moved back to the UK.
Yeah, Ozzy's not doing well at all, even after the latest surgery that he had. And unfortunately, it's the same thing. Ozzy's been dealing with his back issues since his accident almost, 15 years ago? 10 years ago?
Wow.
Something like that. That's when he had the accident in the golf cart.
I remember that.
Yeah, he completely screwed up his back doing whatever he did. And then even though he's had surgeries and he's had, the pain management, which is needles and epidurals and everything into the back, there's only so much you can do. Once the spinal cord is fucked up, the spinal cord is fucked up.
Yeah, that shit doesn't heal well. Anything nerve related does not heal
Yeah.
at the same rate as anything else.
Yeah, so unfortunately when I hear about, things like this that they can't sit up or they have to, go to the bathroom in the tub. It's, it's something that I see on some of the, in some of the people that I, look at work. It's
Right.
devastating to see that, we have the ability to completely redo and completely replace knee joints and hip joints and things like that. But anything having to do with the actual back and spine, there's only so much they can do before you're like, all right, we're just going to have to make you comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get it. Well, hopefully, let's just try to think positive.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best we can do. And speaking of thinking positive, how a positively new musical?
Yeah, this was a weird one to find. It looks like Attack on Titan is getting a musical adaptation.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. So this is one of those ones that is gonna be very weird with how they do it. Just because you do have a lot of very physical differences between the characters and the Titans and things like that. So to see how they're going to do it is going to be interesting. But yeah, so premiering January 2023. It will start off in Osaka. That's going to run from January 7 to January 9. And then it's going to hit Tokyo from January 14 to January 24. So far, they have the 4 main cast members. So Kurumu, Okamiya is Aaron. They did not put who is Mikasa, unless I missed that.
No,
it's just
no.
not listed. Ito Konishi as Armin and Ryo Matsuda as Levi. So I don't know if it's or it's supposed to coincide with season 4 part 3, which also will be hitting in 2023. But yeah, there is going to be a musical adaptation of Attack on Titan. And it is starting from the beginning. It is not
season 4 part 3. I thought they had finished it already.
Well, it's finished, but it hasn't been released. They've done part 1 and part 2, and now they're just basically looking at the very ass end of the series.
You know,
They're
what?
going to have actors flying around in harnesses like the Spider-Man musical, aren't they?
I don't know. Japan is really good for doing musicals and technical things like that with their shows and being able to introduce things through new technology and projection and things like that. But I still wonder how they're going to do it, and I'm hoping that they will actually, um, I guess, show it off more than just how, just by bringing it to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I know that most of the time they do end up streaming once it hits, usually Tokyo. Once it hits Tokyo, they do stream it for a fee. It's just a matter of if they are going to actually, I guess, put translation to it so that everybody can view it. But I will say that the actors that they have chosen are pretty decent looking. But then again, Japan is really good at not just choosing actors that look the part, but making their actors look the part with, wigs and things like that. They're not above, putting makeup and prosthetics to make them look more like the character. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what they do.
Part of me is just picturing all of them in front of Wall Maria, just doing the chorus line kick, and they're singing a parody of "Springtime for Hitler," "Springtime for the Titans."
No, they're all going to be doing the Carlton Banks dance, and the Colossal Titan just rises up behind them and just eats a big chunk of them.
I don't know which one of those is worse.
It's not unusual to be eaten by anyone.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on being That's just me, but yeah. Anyway.
I know. I'm moving along. All right, there we go. So, we have a little bit of controversy here, and almost every week there's some type of controversy on this show. But this one is kind of odd, because science is at work, and science is correct whether you like it or not. But it seems that Amazon Japan pulls a Dr. Stone science consultant book after a prefecture designated it as harmful. This happened back in February, where Amazon Japan delisted 2 books, and Yakuri Kiyoshitsu's Arenai Rika nonfiction series. Arenai Rika stands for Impossible Science. Yakuri Kiyoshitsu is the name of a writers group of science writers. They are notable for acting as consultants for the Dr. Stone manga from Volume 10 going forward. The series is well regarded by the science fiction community, having won the 49th Seiyun Award in the nonfiction category. Publisher Sensei Books 2022 catalog was also removed in this purge. The reason for this happening is that, according to Tottori Prefecture law, the books were deemed harmful to youth. And because of that, Amazon Japan had to suspend all sales to prevent the book from being mail ordered to Tottori. Wow. When Sensei Books asked Amazon to relist them, Amazon Japan responded that it would only be possible if they filed them as adult books, 18+. The publisher disagreed that the books contained adult content, and the 2 sides were unable to reach a compromise. The books, including the ebook versions, are still unavailable as the time of the writing of this article. Sensei Books then contacted the Tottori prefectural government to inquire which part of the books were deemed harmful. but only received a one-page summary of Totori's youth-heavy development ordinance review conference in response. In later communications, the contact claimed that the decision was based on the overall content of the books as opposed to specific sections. Typically, harmful publication designations can only apply within a municipality and therefore cannot extend to sales outside the prefecture. But however, in October 2021, Totori Prefecture revised its Youth Healthy Development Ordinance in the wake of the 2020 crossbow murder case at Hyogo Prefecture. This allowed the local government to forbid online sales of bladed toys and harmful literature to youths living within the prefecture. In the past, works targeted by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government's Youth Healthy Development Ordinance have been blocked from online sales in a way that affects their distribution across the entire country. But it's unusual for local laws in other prefectures to have such a wide-reaching consequence. In an article last week recapping the saga so far, Sansai Books criticized the Totori prefectural government's lack of transparency and argued that abuse of governmental powers has troubling implications for freedom of expression. Sansai Books is still selling the publications through its own online store, but regrets the Amazon delistings, noting that 90% of its sales are through them. The Arangai Igaku G10 and Aranai Kosaku G10 books provide accessible instructions on creating bombastic inventions, such as medicines, electronics, and detonators, using commonly sold materials. The publisher stresses that the books do not endorse pseudoscience, and in fact contain sections criticizing said pseudosciences, or contain any adult material. It kind of reminds me of the time when they published the Anarchist Cookbook, and you could not get your hands on it. Bookstores refused to sell it. You could only get your hands on it at a public library, but you could not take the book out for loan.
Yeah, now you can find copies of it online all over the place.
Technology. Gotta love it.
Mm. I have a kitty.
Obviously, pulling it from the shelves is not going to stop people from getting their hands on it.
Well, at least they can... The best they can do at the time is just read it. And maybe if you're lucky, sneak away to the photocopy machine and make copies.
How many pages was it, did they say?
I honestly don't know. You mean the Anarchist Cookbook or the books we just talked about?
The books we just talked about.
That, I don't know. You'll have to look them up.
Because that's going to be a lot of paper and a lot of time.
But given today's technology, there's absolutely no need. You could just take pictures of each page and just save it as a PDF and just pay it forward.
There's probably a PDF of it floating around anyway.
I mean, there are ebooks. It ain't hard to convert an ebook to a PDF or a Word document. And Mako mentioned something about a cat.
Yes, I have a Cassie.
Is she tolerating you?
Considering she's petting herself on my hand, yes.
Oh, that's adorable.
Look at it this way. Cassie's not a polydactyl. You'd probably be dead where you sit.
That would be so cute.
Oh, God.
She would be so cute with extra toe beans.
All right.
Okay, it's my turn again.
Yep, it's your fandom again.
It is my fandom. So, there has been an update on this article since I grabbed it. But Dragon Ball Super has edged out some other members of the all-time anime film list.
Wow.
And is now listed at number 4. So far as of the writing of this, which was done on Sunday, Superhero's estimated U.S. total is 34,932,582, which still trails the first 2 Pokemon films and Demon Slayer.
Wow.
Yeah. As of Sunday, and being the third weekend in North America, they're looking that it brings the estimate over Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which had been at number 4. So now Dragon Ball Super is at number 4. And yeah, so let me see here. So Dragon Ball Super Superhero is bringing in an estimated $2,405,000 just this past weekend, which ranks it at number 9. The update was actually that it by the end of Labor Day weekend, which was by the end of yesterday, it ended up hitting number 10 instead of number 9.
Oh, okay.
So it is ranking below Thor, Love and Thunder, but above the re-release of Jaws.
Gotta like the fact that an anime film took out a Marvel film.
Also, I had no idea they re-released Jaws.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one. But it opened on over 4,000 screens in over 3,100 theaters, including those with premium offerings such as IMAX, 4DX, Dolby Cinema, MX4D, and D-Box. It is in its first extended weekend, it earned $3.4 million on 327 IMAX screens, a record IMAX US opening for an anime film. 17% of the film's first weekend total came from IMAX screenings, and 40% came from all premiere large format screenings, including IMAX. Yeah, so it's actually doing very, very well. Again, it is just under the first 2 Pokemon films and Demon Slayer. So if it continues to go, obviously, it could potentially be kicking one of those out of the ranking of top 3.
I will say,
cool.
I will say this: Dragon Ball Super Superhero has one bit of an advantage over a couple of other anime titles that are listed, which is the pandemic. Because you have to remember, when Jujutsu Kaisen 0 and Demon Slayer Mugen Train came out, it was during the pandemic, so it was a very limited release. And even if it wasn't that limited, not a lot of people were going to the theaters due to the restrictions. And now that, granted, we are still in a pandemic, more people going to the theaters due to the restrictions are coming down, which worked in its favor. In a way, it makes me wonder how much money those films would have brought in if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, they ended up, for those, and a lot of, say, the Marvel stuff, they had to look at how many people were willing to spend $30 to watch it streaming those first couple of weeks, too. Obviously, the only movie that I got that way, and only because I was able to download it and keep it, was the third Bill and Ted movie. I did not pre-order. I did not watch any film that was going to cost $30 to watch from home.
I thought you waited till it hit
That's horrible.
See, yeah, that's the thing. There were some people that were doing that, and personally, I had a problem with it. I'm already paying for a streaming service. Why should I have to pay an additional $30 on top of that? Now, say for the sake of it, I have a wife. I have 2 kids. They all want to see this movie. Now, we go to the movies. $15 a ticket and 1 kid. So that's $55 right there. Popcorn and soda. You figure that's another $15 per person. That's $100 and some odd dollars.
Yeah, when you're going to watch it as a family, that's completely different.
Yeah. Now,
me by myself, I'm not paying $30.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whereas $30, everybody's at home on the couch, sharing a big old tub of like 3 bags of microwave popcorn.
Yeah,
You can get at the dollar store.
Mm-hmm. And CW
and they'll
says,
probably sell that for like $8 at the movie theater.
yep. Or if you catch the Target brand, you can get a 6-pack for $2.25. But if you can get a 6-pack for $1 at the dollar store of the sea salt variety of microwave popcorn, I'll gladly buy 3 boxes of that. And CW says, that's why you do matinees. I miss doing matinees.
Mm-hmm.
I miss going to the theaters at like 11 o'clock in the morning and not getting home till 11 o'clock at night, because after the first movie, you casually walk over to the other theater, sit down, and you catch like the last 45 minutes of a film, then you casually walk to another, and you're like, you just caught the start of another film. And then you
Can't
go...
even do that anymore because it's all assigned seating.
Yeah. Well, for a while you couldn't do it because they actually had security, coming through, randomly spot checking people's tickets and shit,
I think I've only done that once.
I mean,
I honestly don't think I've done any of that.
I've done it. That's how I saw Spider-Man 2 back in the day.
Yeah, I think I did it once while I was in high school. We went to go hang out at the mall and we watched a movie and then we just never left.
That's kind of cool. All right. Let's get into our last story of the night and we can kind of wrap things up about USC and One Piece.
Oh boy. The USC Trojans' 2022 season opener against Rice University on Saturday will feature a special halftime show themed around One Piece's Straw Hat Pirates. On Saturday, September 3rd, Trojans Marching Band will perform a 3-song set that will include the theme songs We Are, New Genesis, and Over the Top. They will face Rice University's Owls in their season opener. We are proud to partner with a world-class company like Toei Animation in promoting the One Piece film Red through an exciting live performance from the USC Trojan Marching Band, says Drew DeHart, Vice President General Manager of USC Sports Properties and Playfly Sports. The Trojans are fired up to join the Straw Hat crew for the season opener. Yeah, I bet they fucking are. One Piece Red opened in Japan on August 6th, ranked number 1 in the Japanese box office opening weekend, earned over 12 billion yen, about 86 million as of August 31st. It's 26th day in Japanese theaters. As of Sunday, the movie has topped the Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.01. God damn it, these numbers are confusing. Thrice Upon a Time, as the number 10 all-time highest-grossing anime film in Japan. Crunchyroll will theatrically screen the film in North America, Australia, and New Zealand, while the film sells on a new character called Uta, Shanks' daughter. Kaori Nazuka is the speaking voice of Uta, while Ado is the character's singing voice, and also performs the theme song Shinjidai, which is New Genesis. Okay, obviously the college was paid a lot of money to put on that performance.
Licensing fees are a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
Wait, like they were using the team to promote it, so, right?
No, that too, but you still gotta pay licensing rights as well. So.
Money which the athletes obviously did not see a single penny of.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. And seriously, One Piece, that's the hill you're dying on. USC, where the hell do you think you are? Rutgers?
I mean, in a way, it reminds me when I used to be in band when I was in elementary school. We actually would do the songs. Like I remember like playing Tequila on a trombone. There's a part, a banned version of tequila, and there is a banned version of Salt and Pepper's Push It. Yeah, that was
that
one of
song
my
fucking
that
tormented me as like in elementary and middle school
that was
because of
my
the
train.
fucking skating rinks played that constantly.
Cedar Berry says they could at least do the 4Kids One Piece theme. Actually,
No!
maybe that'll be
No!
part of medley. What is wrong with Yayo Yayo?
What is right with it?
Look, let me ask you. No, let me.
Prospects hearing the friggin' 4Kids theme played on a marching band at halftime are like, that's it. I'm going to pit.
Would you rather them come out and do the One Piece medley with the U.S. theme, or when they do We Are, Vic Mignogna comes out on a podium and sings the English version?
They probably won't know who the guy is, but
I'm just saying.
Is this the part where you hope that Bane just destroys the stadium instead?
No, that's the part where you flip a coin and says you leave it to the fates and the coin continuously flips in the air.
No, the coin will land on its side.
Or if it's a D20 and it lands on a side of the die that has no number. And you're just like,
no, the D20 hits the table and just disintegrates. Just crumbles to dust like it doesn't feel so good.
Oh, wow. Points for that. Cedar Berry says, or maybe they'll go from We Are to the VR Troopers theme.
I will give them credit for that. That is something I would not see coming.
It works.
I'm like, well played.
All right. Now that we got that out the way, let's get into the part of the show that you'll all really enjoy more than anything else that y'all stick around for. Meanwhile, in Japan. Let's see. I'll take the second story.
Mako, which one you want?
It doesn't matter to me.
All right, I'll take the first one then.
Yeah, I'm curious about this shit myself.
Yeah, I kind of figured you would. A Japanese monkey hunting team shoots a woman with a tranquilizer dart. On Monday afternoon, residents of Fuji City in Shizuoka Prefecture reported seeing a monkey that wandered into the area near Fujikawa Station. In response, City Hall dispatched 3 municipal employees and 1 contracted specialist, armed with tranquilizer rifles to subdue the animal. The 4 monkey hunters arrived at the station shortly before 3 and summoned a woman who had seen the monkeys so she could supply them with more information. The report was cut short because while she was still at the scene, she herself was shot by a tranq dart, causing her to lose consciousness. The type of dart she was shot with was about 150 mil in length with a 30 millimeter tip. And though the monkey hadn't managed to procure the weaponry on its own and launch a counteroffensive.
Whoops.
Which would have been hilarious. Grim, but hilarious. The dart lodged itself in the woman's left arm and came from one of the human hunter's rifles. City officials say the woman was at the scene. The hunters were taping the barrels of the rifle, taping the barrels of the rifles to prevent air leakage, and in the process, one of them accidentally pulled the trigger and discharged it. The woman was taken to the hospital where she regained consciousness roughly an hour later, but it wasn't until another hour that after she was lucid enough to properly communicate it. The dart had contained a tranquilizer dose sized to subdue a 15-kilogram monkey. Thankfully, she suffered no injuries and was discharged that same day, but the incident still seems like something you'd see from a sketch comedy bit than an official animal control operation. And online reactions are things like, so slapstick comedy scenarios can happen in real life. I bet the monkey was laughing at the human's dumb mistake. Can't help laughing at this. Good thing it wasn't a bear-sized dose. That thing would have turned out a lot worse. And obviously the rookie mistake on the weapon handler parts, because, well, that's basic gun safety, and this idiot was just, flaunting that for the hell of it.
Whoops.
Yeah. And that was like a normal woman. Like, imagine, like, someone like me getting shot with a trank rated for a 15-pound animal, a 15-kilo animal.
I think you'd be like, wait,
like that for like 2.5 hours.
No. For something like that, for a 33-pound monk, it would hit you. You would just be like, wait, what? You would just yawn and just keep going.
If you do find something big enough to put me down, you might not be able to get me back up. I'm just warning you.
Oh, God.
And if going to the dentist has taught me anything, things that's supposed to, like, knock you out and make you lose feeling, I have a resistance to them. You ever had to get teeth drilled and they were like, okay, this is like and they were like, okay, this is the 4th dose of Novocaine. We have to shoot into your gums to get this to work. Does that happen to me?
I've gone through.
It sucks.
I've gone through 2 shots of Novocaine because my teeth were impacted, and I think they were at the point of just jumping on the chair with their drill and just like figured they'd go to town. And I'm just like, good luck. Anywho, next up, we've all heard that saying, "Don't copy that floppy." But according to the Japanese government, they say otherwise. Stop using that floppy. And they're saying same with mini discs as well. I kind of missed that. If you look at Wikipedia's English language entry for Taro Kono, it describes the Japanese politician as having developed a reputation of a political maverick. So having assumed a new position this month, Japan's Minister of Digital Affairs, you might expect him to be planning to shake things up, and indeed Kono has wasted no time with a bold proposal. No more floppy disks. I just find it interesting that they misspelled disk. In a press conference held on Tuesday, Kono revealed the results of a review by Japan's digital agency, the cabinet division he heads, of policy regulations within the Japanese government. The study found that there are roughly 1,900 ordinances that require the submission of applications or storing of data to be on some sort of physical storage medium. In addition to floppy and optical disks, Kono says the study also found rules requiring use of CD-ROMs, mini-discs, and cassette tapes, prompting Kono to exasperately remark, "I am not sure where people are even supposed to be able to buy floppy disks anymore." Because, if I remember correctly, they stopped making floppy disks about a year and a half ago. These policies should be swiftly reconsidered, Kono said, lamenting how the antiquated requirements are impeding the implementation of online and cloud-based systems, and calling for revised regulations to be drafted within a year and presented to applicable government agencies for compliance. It's worth noting that the study found nearly 1,900 instances in which such physical storage media is required. They don't appear to be the sort of situations that most people are likely to encounter in their daily lives. Government offices aren't asking people to file their tax return on floppy disks or to register their car via cassette-recorded voice message. Instead, the physical medium requirements seem to be primarily related to the business applications and government archiving, with business calls for modernizations on the government's part being part of what prompted the review. And also, something that's interesting, and I believe Mako-chan has brought this up a couple times on prior episodes. There's one thing about Japan. They're not that big on digital distribution. They're on it, but physical medium is a lot more popular. Even though physical media and stuff is a little bit more pricey, but it's what they use, it's what they go on. I had a friend who worked for Uniqlo's corporate company, the corporate headquarters, and they're based out of Japan. And he was telling me it has been a pushback moving everybody into the cloud because they prefer physical medium across the board. I'm just like, wow. Hell, I'm just happy at my job. I could just load Windows 10 onto a laptop. It goes to the server, realizes it's one of ours. It pulls the configuration software. It reboots. You log in with your credentials. Go about your way. And now our last.
This is why you see. Look, this is why the scene when Sailor Moon with Usagi holding up a floppy disk. Like, I gotta tell you, I don't know anything about computers. Why it still holds up? Because I still fucking use on modern day.
I'm kind of surprised it wasn't a flash drive instead of a floppy disk, but oh well.
Probably get a thumb drive me, and it'd be like a loop of her like, you know, jabbing at the slot, not working, turning it over, jabbing at the slot, and then just someone just takes that and just makes it into an infinite loop.
That's
and it's like thumb drives in a nutshell.
That's kind of the story of my first work laptop at my job. I go to plug in a flash drive. I'm just like, why is it plugging in this oddly? And I turn and I look. Yeah, somebody somehow put a flash drive in a particular way where everything was all mashed up and shit. I was just like, how in the fresh farm? And that and the issue with the USB-C, I just like, you know what? I'm sending it out for repair. That's fine. And now our last story of the night out of Japan about video games. Go on.
I'm kind of interested in this one.
Cool.
It's kind of in the same idea as the glasses that may help you to correct your eyesight. This is a video game that may actually help you to detect eyesight issues early. So what this is, it's called Meteor Blaster, and it's a simple smartphone browser-based shooting game developed by Sendai Television and the Tohoku University Graduate School of Medicine. It was patented last July and is hoped to help people detect early symptoms of glaucoma just from playing for 5 minutes. To play, you simply have to hold your smartphone about 30 centimeters, which is about a foot, from your face, and operate the stationary laser cannon to shoot meteoroids as they float into your crosshairs. At the same time, white dots will appear on the screen, at which time you must press the capture button for interstellar reasons that are beyond our puny terrestrial comprehension. And then, of course, since the game is evaluating your eyesight, you have to be sure to actually use the recommended screen distance. After playing through 4 stages of this, Meteor Blaster then gives you a rundown of your vision in each eye. The screen is divided into 16 sections, and a score from 1 to 5 is assigned to each area, with 1 being great and 5 very bad, with regards to how well each of your eyes can detect things. So if scores of 5 come out, it could be a sign of the early stages of glaucoma, and you should consult an expert. Glaucoma is damage to the optic nerves, which starts small but gets progressively worse if left undetected. It's surprisingly common in about 1 in 20 people over 40 suffering from some form of it. So again, that is 1 in 20 people over the age of 40 suffer from a form of glaucoma. Even more frightening is that glaucoma is the leading cause of blindness in Japan, largely because people don't notice it early enough to seek treatment. So the professor who helped develop Meteor Blaster said, glaucoma is a disease that is difficult to notice. There's an estimated 4.65 million sufferers in Japan, but roughly 90% do not go to the hospital, which is kind of crazy when you think about that. If glaucoma is detected at an early age, At an early stage, treatment is more effective, and in many cases, blindness does not occur. By the time it becomes noticeable in your daily life, it is often too late. The game is a really great idea that costs absolutely nothing and takes up very little of your time, but can save you a great deal of grief down the road. Obviously, online commenters were very enthusiastic about the game, with some knowing all too well the silent dangers of glaucoma. People tend to mistake glaucoma for loss of eyesight due to old age. Eye clinics and glasses shops should have the game in their waiting areas. Glaucoma can make you blind even if you have perfect vision. I have glaucoma in one eye and can't see well. I wish I'd known of this sooner. I was... They're also surprised at the production value of the game, possibly due to the involvement of Sendai Television as its creation. A rep from the broadcaster said that they were happy to help reverse the stigma that games are bad for eyesight and hope to expand it into promotion of eye health in other ways as well.
It's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of cool as a diagnostic tool to be able to promote it. Because, let's be honest, people don't feel like going to the doctors unless they know that something is actually wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to play a game like this and knowing, hey, you've got some 5s in there, there's a pretty damn good chance that you have glaucoma, and if you get, checked and get it dealt with early, you might not have any issues down the line. That's going to go over a lot better than, you know what, you might... What are you doing, cat? Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway, I lost my track of thought because of the cat trying to play with the arm that the microphone is on.
You were talking about like the game that tracks glaucoma.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing, especially if more games like this can be implemented. There are a lot of things that when you go and get these things checked, it is kind of like a game.
Yeah.
You go and get your eyes checked, there are different things that they do. When you go and get your hearing checked. So if they can do something like that as some sort of game where you have to, hit buttons in order to destroy things, and obviously if you can't hear to be able to hit those buttons, you may need to go and get your ears checked. Cat, what the hell?
Hopefully we can get an English version of it somewhere.
Yeah, that would be really cool. At the same time, do you really need an English version if all you're doing is hitting one button? You'd still, the numbers would still come up, and that's all you're really looking to get. Mm-hmm. So as long as you understand the idea behind the game and can hit those buttons and know what those buttons do, you really don't have to understand the story of it. Mm-hmm. So if you can download that game, and a lot of us played Japanese games where after playing for a while, you knew which buttons were continue and play and things like that. So if it's going to be something like that, you can go ahead and down that, no issue, as a non-Japanese speaker, and be able to at least pull up these numbers so that hey, this may be something that I want to go get looked at. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that you need to definitely be able to understand Japanese to be able to get in there and at least press buttons and figure out how to work it.
No, I totally get that. And, this reminds me of a friend of mine a few months ago. She actually had glaucoma surgery done on both her eyes. Oof. And she's no older than us.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of things that can happen to your eyes, to your hearing, things like that have nothing to do with old age. Mm-hmm. There's glaucoma, there's cataracts, and again, they're very easily fixable if you catch them early. Hell, even with cataracts, if you don't catch it early, they have the ability to give you a lens transplant so that you're able to see again.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a lot of things like that, it's not an end of the world thing if you happen to get it and catch it. And it's something that is very easily fixable if you are willing to actually go down that route.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we got that out the way, shall we go ahead and wrap up the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm losing my voice.
I could tell. So I'll get through this as quickly and efficiently as possible. So if you liked tonight's show, tell a friend. They in turn will tell another friend, and so on and so forth. We're independent bloggers, independent podcasters, and we do this for the fun of it. So if you have any questions about the show, drop us a line at podcast@animejamsession.com. Again, that is podcast@animejamsession.com. We're here to believe you. Don't forget to visit our website at animejamsession.com, where you will find our weekly podcast, cosplayer tips and tricks, cosplayer interviews, anime reviews, editorials, links to our YouTube page of convention videos, links to our Facebook page of cosplay coverage from said conventions. All that and a lot more at animejamsession.com. And if you like the show, check out some of our older episodes. They're all available on Google Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Spotify. Any app that you use for downloading podcasts, just search Anime Jam Session. Over 500 episodes. Come through and definitely check them out. And don't forget to follow us on our social media, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. It's all Anime Jam Session. Follow us on those so you know when we're going live, when we have new articles up on our site, new photos, new videos, all that and then some. And we really appreciate the love and support that we're getting from this. And down below is our tip jar. There's links to our stream elements and Ko-Fi, so you can click on that and throw us cash if you like. Or if you want, you can donate bits. We really appreciate that. And subscribing to our page, to our channel. This is September, so sub to us, gift sub, save yourself a few dollars. You know, it's well worth it. So now we're going to go around the room. Last words, Ari.
I should look into starting my own gym again.
Yeah. Last words, Mako.
I am going to enjoy going to bed tonight.
My last words. I think I'm going to crack open a bag of that fire roasted popcorn and enjoy the rest of the night. Well, that is it. End of list. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. And if I'm looking at the schedule correctly, Barry will be joining us next week, so it'll be fun. So I think we're going to get up and out of here. So I'm Ranma.
I'm Ari.
And I am Mako-chan.
Great fight. Great night. See you next week.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Say goodnight, Mako-chan.
Good night, Mako-chan.
Perfect. Awesome. She's going to be out like a light in 10 minutes. I'm calling it right now. Well, that's it. We'll see you all next week, so take care of yourself and each other.
This podcast has been a production of Anime Jam Session and AJS Productions. No fanboys and fangirls were hurt, maimed, shot, electrocuted, or pistol whipped in this episode. For now. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed on this show do not reflect the staff or the network as a whole. But we're still right, damn it. For transcripts of this episode, start typing. Check us out at animejamsession.com and vognetwork.com for more information about us and other programming. Jamatane!